Christian, I want to know, is the government going to shut down? So the House is not scheduled to come back until Wednesday, but if the Senate doesn't pass any more government funding, the federal government shuts down after midnight on Tuesday. Is this up to House Democrats or is this up to Senate Democrats? Will the House come back and have to bail out the Senate? What's going on here?
Well, you laid that all out perfectly, Tiana. We have this Tuesday at midnight deadline for Congress to come together and keep the government operational. Now, there's a lot of moving parts. The House, they have passed, their appropriations bills, and if Senate Democrats, they can't come to an agreement in these last few hours, they are proposing a continuing resolution which maintains the current funding levels, which, let's not forget, were the Biden-era funding levels approved, ahead of FY 2025. Otherwise, we're going to see huge swaths of the government, be furloughed, essentially. More than probably 800,000 federal employees will, be out of work. They will receive back pay. But this is big, and the White House is trying to spin this as being the Democrats' fault. But I kind of think the Democrats are actually, for the first time under Trump, doing their job. And when I say doing their job, I'm not saying they are funding the government or they're advancing legislation to help their constituents. In fact, a shutdown might hurt some of their constituents. But what they are doing is finding a way to effectively stand up to Donald Trump and to this administration. We've heard about how they want to extend these premium tax exemptions, tax write-offs for the ACA, which will expire at the end of the year. But I think this isn't actually about the language that they're using. This is all about being a roadblock to Donald Trump. And we've seen it over the last week. Some of the threats that are coming out of the White House when it comes to, WIC benefits, will be disrupted. SNAP will be disrupted. They're speaking in the language of the Democrats. And it's just not enough because ultimately there are other things that the Democrats are worried about, namely Trump acting beyond the powers of the presidency or his ICE agenda or the tariffs or anything like that. And they're saying this is the stand because historically we know the party in power, specifically when it's a Republican in the White House and Republicans holding majorities in Congress, they will take the blame for this heading into the November elections next year. And this is, the biggest win Democrats can hang their hat on because let's be honest, they have not been effective when it comes to, being a roadblock for Donald Trump, implementing every part of his agenda that he sees fit. And I think they won't bend, and therefore we probably will see a shutdown starting Wednesday.